Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. I am joined once again by Liverpool fan Calvin, a regular face on the channel, of course, when it comes to this fixture against Liverpool. This time it's St James's Park. It's going to be a Sunday kickoff 4:30 on Sky Sports for this one. Of course, both teams will be looking to get a win on the board, of course, after a start of a season, of course, that Newcastle seen a win against Aston Villa here, 5-1 against Villa. And then, of course, we went into that game down at the Etihad, and it wasn't to be for, unfortunately. Liverpool coming into this game, of course, with a draw against Chelsea and a win against Bournemouth. Now, before we get into it, I do want to, of course, allow Calvin to say hello to you guys. So go ahead, Calvin.
Hey guys, hope everyone's doing good. I want to say thank you to Carl, 100% Mags, for inviting me on once again. Great to be here and chat all things at football, Liverpool. Great to have the football season back, and I'm buzzing for this. I really am.
Yeah, it's gonna be brilliant, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Looking at this game, this is a game, that both us fans know, it's always a tough game. It's always a game that usually, brings up entertainment, be it negative or positive entertainment, So what do you think going into this game, how your season's been so far?
I think it's been 50-50. Last season, we just clinched, we just got Europa League, got European football. And, that late surge of getting those wins near the end of last season really helped to clinch European football. And after a not so great season last season, pretty average, we didn't invest, put the money, besides Nunez and all that and Gakpo. But where the problems lied was that midfield and the defence, really. But yeah, this season, I'm a lot more hopeful, a lot more confident about this season. Bringing like some McAllister in and Szoboszlai, the Hungarian, I still can't pronounce his name, terrible that.
Szoboszlai.
Yes, apologies to any Hungarians watching. But yeah, got him in as well, and they've really done well. They've really improved that midfield. Henderson, he's gone. I'll say what, he's a bit of a hypocrite. He's gone to, he's done all that and done what he did. Never really was a big fan of him anyway. But Fabinho's gone, which I was gutted about. I did like Fabinho, but we kind of got a good amount of money for him. We bought him for about just over 40 million, something like that, and we got about just a bit less. And so it's not like a big loss what we got, with Fabinho. So I wasn't that gutted about it. We haven't really gone enough in defence. Klopp was playing around with Trent in midfield in pre-season. But I feel like we've got, is it Connor Bradley, young lad we put on loan, Bolton?
I think so, yeah.
Calvin Ramsey's gone to Preston. He's nowhere near ready yet because he only had one appearance last season, no competitions, Ramsey. But Trent's being put back there. He can't defend at all. Trent is better attacking, and he's shown that when he has played in midfield. So we're just going to leave him there. Van Dijk taking the captain's armband. That's who I wanted as captain. He's that sort of big guy, that bully, that loud presence that you want to have as a captain. Gerrard was like that. He was Scouse and born and bred, but I know Van Dijk's from Holland. But Van Dijk, English, very, very good. He's a big presence. He's like I say, he's a bully in a good way. He can get the team going, and that's what I like, and that's the leader I want to see at our club. To get the boys act together, kick them up the arses, and get those 3 points in every game. So midfield, like I said, just quickly, also, missing out on deals on Caicedo. Had a terrible game against West Ham, 100-odd million, gone down the drain for Chelsea, but, and he preferred to go there. So see what happens, Caicedo, this season. Lavia gone there, by the looks of it. But yeah, I still feel we need to make... Oh, we got Endo as well. Forgot about him. The Japanese guy. He's now. I know we need to, but I'll just quickly rave on about him. I like the Bundesliga. I really do. I play Bundesliga fantasy. I'm an FPL player. I play fantasy football. And I'll tell you something. He's a very good player. He's 30, but he's very experienced, and he seems like a very good player. And I believe, looking into him, his old manager used to play him in defence. Endo, and then he moved him into like a CDM like midfield sort of way, and he's kind of thrived there for Stuttgart when he was there. So very good key player for the German side, and I feel like I'm very excited. Could be a good one. McAllister looking good, World Cup winner. Yeah, so it's a fresh midfield, and that's fresh legs, younger legs, and it's got me very giddy and very excited. Defense looks a bit, maybe we could try and get a centre back in, but we don't look to be looking at centre backs.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I don't rate Matip, I don't rate Gomez, but midfield wise,
that as well.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry,
yeah,
I was thinking about that as well. The defense is a little bit weak at the back. I've noticed that with the game against Chelsea, that it seemed to be pretty weak at the back, and against Bournemouth, it also seemed to be pretty weak at the back. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, just the midfield to me, massive improvement compared to last season. I think those three players are really going to do well for us. Look at the attack. I don't even need to talk about the front three or what we've got as cover. Gakpo had a great half season. You know, Nunez will find his feet. He's just all about that pace, isn't he? And he just needs to get, you know, that eye on goal a bit more, that finish. And I think he'll do well. So we don't need to talk about the attack. It's just perfect. We'll probably talk about likes of Jota and all that later on the video. But defence is a bit shaky. But midfield, I'm very, very happy with. And that's what you need, is a very good midfield to help supply some good key passes to those forwards that I mentioned to score goals. Yeah. So that's it really. Yeah.
Some brilliant points there. Like I just mentioned as well, you know, the defense was looking pretty weak. I've noticed that in the game against Chelsea. I've noticed that in the game against Bournemouth. You know, that Liverpool seem to be quite susceptible at the back. They seem to be opening up quite easily when, you know, the balls are going over the top or there's a pacey player there to break through. That seems to be something that maybe Liverpool could work on fixing before this window shuts. The same's been said about Chelsea as well. You know, Chelsea were also the same in that game that you played against them. You know, they seem to be pretty open in the game as well. It just seems to be a thing, you know, that is happening with the teams at the moment. I've seen it with the likes of Man City, who we just played. You know, they seem to be pretty susceptible in that game as well. Just unfortunately, it wasn't our day. You could see by the many chances that we did have in the game, you know, that just wasn't our day. It wasn't going in for it. The ref didn't help neither, of course, getting involved in the game a little bit too much for niggly little things here and there. But I've got to say, I'm pretty excited by the way the season's gone so far. I know we're only like 2 games into the season, 3 games come this weekend, but for what we've gotten so far out of you know, the lads, it seems to be a pretty entertaining seasons ahead for it. Of course, we've got that Champions League back as well this season, so we'll have to see what happens with that. The draws on the 31st of August for that one, so we'll see who will get drawn in there. The Champions League groups there as well, but it's one of them things where you can't really make too much of a judgment too soon, because we're only, you know, a little few games into the season, so there's still quite a little bit of time, you know, for the players to get their legs going and stuff like that. But you can't see just, you know, little things at the moment where teams just need to show up a few different things here and there, because if they don't show them up now whilst the window's open, then they could be, you know, causing themselves some trouble down the line, because you don't have another chance to, you know, bring any new recruits into your team until that January transfer window. But like I say, this game at St James's Park, it's one of them games, you know, where it can be a positive entertainment, it can be a negative entertainment. You know, what's your thoughts on Newcastle's season so far, mate?
I think Newcastle have got off to a good start. You know, you hammered Villa. I know Mings did go off their key defender, but you really, that St James's Park, they get behind you. And talking about Champions League nights, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see St James's Park under the lights, Champions League, up there. Absolutely fantastic. You guys deserve it. After a fantastic season last season, 100% deserve it. But But yeah, and as well as talking about the game against City, you gave him a good game. You know, it was only 1-0. And I feel, you know, we've talked about this. I put a comment when you were doing your predictions, and I probably put Newcastle quite low. I'm kind of retracting that now. I know it's early days, but I think you'll probably be a bit more higher up, should we say, from where I said. I think you'll be somewhere similar to where you were, last season, probably getting that top 4. I mean, anyone can get it. Chelsea are building. Arsenal's still going to be up there. City, Liverpool looking better now, and Villa, once they get their act together, you know, they got some good attackers. Defense a bit shaky, but I think that top 4 is wide open still. Anybody can get in there.
It's pretty open.
Yeah, so I think Eddie Howe knows what he's doing. He's made some, you know, wise choices, wise transfers. You know, Harvey Barnes. Not disrespecting Harvey Barnes. He's not like the world class. He doesn't need Eddie Howe to go out there and fork out 80-odd million or something like that for a player, 70 million but he's gone out for Harvey Barnes. And, you know, 2 key men, him and Maddison at Leicester, they got relegated. One going to Spurs, one going to Newcastle. Harvey Barnes, first game, got off to a flyer, came off the bench. He got a goal and assist, something like that. He's a very impactful player. He was for Leicester. And I think he's making some very wise and very careful choices, and he's not panicking, Eddie Howe. He's got the money to back him. He's signed some young lads. What's his name? Levermento from Southampton.
Tonali,
Hall. Is there a guy called Hall from Chelsea? Yeah. So he's got some good young players there. So he's building for the future as well, which is great to see. And, you know, the midfield looks great. Joe Linton, Bruno G. You've just got some very exciting players. You know, you've made some very careful choice. You took your time. You've not gone out there and think, yeah, look at us. We've got all this money. We're going to put out 80 million, something like that. Yeah. And no. But you've done well. And credit to Eddie Howe and co. Everyone behind the scenes as well, and the fans. All you guys love the owners, the manager, and so you should, because they've done great. And I love the Newcastle fans like yourself, because you guys are absolutely so freaking passionate, and you know you're there. It's a full house, and it's a fantastic atmosphere from you guys. So you fully deserve to be where you are now. You 100%. You've worked hard, and I'm really, really happy to see this kind of like Newcastle. When you were under Ashley, it was like a sleeping giant. You got rid of that negative person, and now you've got a good positive vibe behind the club, like we talked about last time. And it's here you are, Champions League. You'll be playing like Real Madrid and all that, and all the Milan clubs, Barcelona, bloody buzzing. You'll be buzzing. Hey. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like you say, it's a different atmosphere at St James's now. I've seen loads of pundits coming out and saying, nobody wants to go to St James's Park. Nobody wants to play Newcastle at St James's Park. And rightly so. We proved it last season. We had one of the best defences in the Premier League, if not the best defence in the Premier League. St James's Park was an absolute fortress. I think only 2 times did we lose at St James's Park last season. One of them was against Jews and the other one was against, I think, Arsenal or something like that was. So that in itself shows just how much of a fortress, Eddie Howe's turned St James's Park into, especially, considering what kind of a team he got, he inherited when he first came in, and he's just turned things around immensely. I mean, we were down in 19th place, we went down to 20th place. Then was shot up the table to 11th place to finish in the Premier League when he first came in. And then, last season we see ourselves finishing in 4th, probably should have finished 3rd maybe. But Man United just pipping with that 3rd place. We all know why, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's history now. There's nothing you can do about that. But this season, we've shown already, that we're a different team again. We've progressed even further again. And, it is going to be a fantastic season. I can't wait to see what's in store for us. We have seen some news as well, because Amazon went and leaked the 3rd and 4th episodes of our documentary. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the
No,
documentaries
not yet.
episodes yet.
But I really want to watch it. I just not had time yet. But
Yeah.
I love stuff like that because yeah, you know, I watched there was the Sunderland ones that were on there, the Arsenal ones and all that. But yeah, I definitely want to see the Newcastle ones. I've always been following bloody We Are Wrexham, the Ryan Reynolds thing as well. I love stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be following the Newcastle one. It's always great to see like cameras behind the scenes, what's being said and what's happening behind the scenes and things that we don't see. And you know, especially for you, Geordie fans, Newcastle fans, to see what's going on in the club or behind the scenes. But yeah, I will watch it definitely 100%. So. When I get time,
there's been some fantastic episodes for the first and the second episode. We haven't seen the third episode yet. Most people have because they watched it when it was leaked along with the fourth episode. But myself, I haven't watched it. My brother and my dad hasn't watched it. We never decided to watch it. We're just waiting to see it. But they have leaked a little bit of information about the fourth episode, which was meant to be kept for the 1st of September. Don't know if you've seen it circulating around about the kit supplier for next season.
No, I'm saying no.
The kit supplier for next season is going to be Adidas. They've said,
is it?
Yeah. They've actually said that it's going to be Adidas. Loads of Newcastle fans have talked about it. I've actually had it on my channel as well myself, talking about the news about that. Right. And they're saying that it's going to be a massive contract that we're going to be getting for the kit supplier. Adidas are going to come in and they're going to take over from Castor, who are making the kits at the moment. They're saying that it could be, the rumour that was going around was that it could be 80 million, but some are saying that it could be higher than that as well. But we won't find out, obviously, I'm guessing, until the 1st of September when hopefully the details are released by Adidas and the club on, you know, how much it will be. Guessing they probably won't tell you all of the details, obviously, but there will be a good amount of the details revealed, which that'll immensely help us going forward for, you know, investment into the squad, FFP as well, because at the moment we're only getting about 5 million, I think it is, a season from Castor for to do our kits, which is pretty poor when you consider against the likes of yourselves, Chelsea, Arsenal, you know, Man United's getting 900 million contract for their Adidas kit supplier deals. So we'll have to see what happens on that one moving down the line. But my thoughts on your season so far, mate, I've got to say you have done pretty well so far. You know, putting aside the things like I just said, you know, the defence needing to be a little bit revamped, a few other areas in the squad needing to be revamped. I mean, a draw against Chelsea on the opening day, that's not too bad. You know, at the end of the day, that could easily be either way, that game. Then the game against Bournemouth, you know, winning that game, that helps just get your season a little bit back on track with that win, you know, gets you 3 points on the board, which allows you to come into this game with 4 points, you know. So it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Jurgen Klopp's been having a lot to say, as he always does, on quite a few different subjects, let's face it, talking about, you know, the technical area, mentioning Newcastle in there, which it seems to be a running thing, I guess, with Jurgen Klopp, that he does mention Newcastle in quite a lot of these things that he comes up with. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? You know, Jurgen Klopp keep mentioning Newcastle and stuff. Would you rather focus more on Liverpool and less on everybody else?
Well, you know, I love Klopp. I'm biased, but we have talked about Klopp in the past, and you know, he does say a lot of stuff. He does ramble on with a few things, and I'm not going to deny that. As a Liverpool fan, he does say a few. You know, he's very opinionated, Klopp. I do feel he needs to, you know, focus on the team, and that's what it's all about, on our team, our club, and any manager should. I mean, they shouldn't be, you know, focusing too much on the opposition. I think Klopp just needs to, you know, focus on us, get us back in training. You know, who's the right players to start in the start 11. Yeah, but yeah, I think I do agree. Klopp is very like that. He is like that, and that's Jurgen Klopp, isn't it? So very
Yeah.
entertaining, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. It does seem to be his sort of thing. I mean, we've seen Pep Guardiola do it as well. You know, we've seen quite a few managers do it. I guess that's sort of their way of going about it. I'd much rather prefer, you know, like a manager like Eddie Howe, where, you know, when he gets asked these questions, that he just says, you know, it's not his business. He just gets on with, you know, doing the Newcastle thing and focusing on the club, because that's really what you should be doing as a manager, in my opinion. But maybe that's just me being an old-fashioned football fan, you
No,
know.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that, mate. No, I do agree with you. I'm same. No, I do agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice to hear that somebody actually does agree with us on that, because I thought it was just me, you know, being an old-fashioned football fan, you know, wanting the manager just to focus on, you know, the club that he's managing. But it is what it is, isn't it, with this social media world of the football now. You know, the managers like to get out there. They like to, you know, make their voice be heard on all sorts of subjects going on in the world. But I'd much rather them just focus on, you know, what they're doing, because it does, you know, benefit the team going forward. Talking about this game at the weekend, of course, you have had a little bit of a boost going into this game, of course, with Alexis McAllister getting that red card overturned. I mean, I watched that game, and I've got to say, I thought it was a red card, a deserving red card, in my opinion. I don't know what's gone on for it to be overturned. In my opinion, I feel that it is a bit of a dodgy call, that one that they've made there. I feel, you know, he should have definitely been missing out on these games, because he went in with his studs. I mean, you can clearly see it, you know. There's no way of going around it that it was not a red card, you know, because it clearly was a red card. We've seen it last season with a few other players getting the red cards, you know, for that exact same tackle. But what's your thoughts on it, you know, mate? What's your thoughts on Alexis McAllister's red card being
I do think it was a bit harsh. I'm just going to bring it back up on my phone because I have seen it, but I just want to get a closer view so we can talk about it a bit more.
No worries.
Once it decides to come up. But yeah, I remember. I know what you mean. I'm just getting up now properly. Yeah.
No worries.
It was a bit. It kind of. I can see looking at it slowly. He was kind of just. Let me just get. It's a bit slower. So yeah, I'd be a bit more prepared for this.
No worries.
Right, it's going straight into play. Yeah, I can see his foot going in. It's not really much of a high challenge. It was a bit harsh, and I know I'm biased. And there's a lot of people. It was a harsh red. I know the whole thing with the studs going into someone's leg or something like that. And
yeah,
I think it was harsh because he was going for the ball, and it probably just missed the ball, and. I am biased, being a Liverpool fan. I'm over the moon. It's fine, but I thought it was a harsh red. I don't think it was as bad as it was made out to be, as it looked. I think it was. I don't know, blown out of proportion. Everyone's, you know, I don't think it was as bad as it was made out. I don't think it was a red, in my opinion, and I think it was the right call. In my opinion, I'm a biased Liverpool fan, woo, and but I think
perfectly fine, mate.
I'm not going to complain anyway. He's playing against Newcastle, but I think it was harsh anyway. So I'm over the moon. I think it's the right call. So World Cup winner Alexis McAllister, come on.
That's perfectly fine, mate. At the end of the day, that's, you know, I was wanting to get your honest opinion. You've given it there, you know, your honest opinion on what you thought of it. My sister's a Liverpool fan, you know, she was saying that it should have maybe been a yellow, but maybe it's just us, you know, as Newcastle fans, you know, what we seem to have a problem with Liverpool.
You would have loved him out. You would have been like, ooh, like that, you know.
I was until it overturned it. But we'll see what happens anyway going into that game the weekend. But there's quite a few different talking points. I mean, you know, what is going to go with going into the game. I guess we'll cover that, to be honest. What's your starting lineup going into the game? Who would you pick going into this game?
I think the usual back: Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Konate, Robbo. Midfield-wise, does Endo get his first start? You know, it's a tough game away from home. I think I don't know a Klopp. Will he throw him into the deep end? Who knows? I mean, McAllister's available, so it's not like we're missing a midfielder, key midfielder, and then he can be thrown straight in Endo. I would like to see very, very soon, and even if it's not in this game, go for McAllister and then Endo and behind, and then Visley. You know who I mean, the Hungarian, the Hungarian wizard, little magician, and then the front three. I'd go for Jota on the left, Sal on the right, and then probably Gakpo and Nunez. But I think Gakpo's been. I don't know if we've been playing like a bloody. We're 4-3-3 and then plays a cam. Gakpo's been playing there just behind the front three. I don't know. I think we've kind of been playing that or looking to play that. But yeah, talk about Jota. I think that's what I would go for. I think Gakpo and Nunez kind of rotated around there. Like I said, Salah. I think Jota needs to start. I love Jota. He's very underrated. He's such an impactful, explosive player, Diogo Jota. And he's whenever we need goals or someone to make a difference, even if Nunes can't get at the back of the net, we'll call out for Mr. Jota. He'll come on. He'll absolutely dominate and score. And he's very underrated in my opinion. And he was a very good player for Wolves, and he's done well at Liverpool. He's been that kind of impact sub when he's been on the bench. He comes on, boom, and makes a real difference. So I think the front three, just Salah and Jota definitely in that front three. Salah's definitely going to start, definitely. I know Salah had a bit of a hissy fit coming off against Chelsea. But yeah, and there was links of him going to Saudi along with everyone else that's bloody gone there.
Yeah, I did see that.
But I think Salah's staying, and I think they've made up now. He scored against Bournemouth, and I'm looking forward to the game. I think if we go straight to my prediction, it's on the screen. I'm going to put 2-2. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm not going to put a loss for Liverpool or anything like that. It's going to be tough. Hell, I can't see us winning just like that now. We did the double over last season, but hell, it's tough. At St. James's Park, it is tough. And you guys will be up for this, I tell you. And, unlucky to only lose 1-0 to City. You could have got something out of that. And at the Etihad. So I think a 2-2, I'm going to be optimistic that we'll come away with a point. If it's going to be 1-1 or 2-2, but I think this will have goals. I think you'll definitely get past our defence. You'll definitely score past our defence. Isaac, brilliant player. Callum Wilson, brilliant, very good player. You got some good pace. Harvey Barnes, Almiron, Bruno, and Joe Linton. Joe Linton pushing up, and you've got a lot of quality in there. Yeah. With Liverpool, I think we can get past you. I think we can get past Mr. Getting on a bit now, Dan Burns. No offense, Dan, love you, mate. But he could put Salah in his back pocket. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to have goals. Definitely, I think it's going to have at least 3 goals in it. It could be 2-1 either side, but I think it's going to have at least 3 goals in this game, this fixture.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be one of them games where we'll see a lot of goals. I've seen a few people. I mean, I've been looking at some of the Liverpool forums to see what some of your fellow fans have been saying, and a few of them are saying 3-3. Some of them are saying Newcastle to win, so it's sounding like, it's either a point or a loss for you guys from some of your fans. They're thinking that that's going to be how this game is going to play out. Some of them as well, I have seen on a few other forums, saying that, maybe Liverpool can beat in the game. But like you say, and as we know, St. James's Park is a fortress. It's a tough place to come to. And there's not many teams that are going to be coming away from St. James's Park, I feel, this season with 3 points in the bag. I mean, the way Eddie Howe's set things up here, it is very, very tough for teams to break down moving forward. So we'll see, how this game plays out at the weekend. But my starting 11 going into this, of course, we're never going to know the true starting 11 until, of course, Eddie Howe picks it, because he always keeps his cards very close to his chest, which I like, because at the end of the day, that keeps the teams guessing that we're going to play against. But my starting 11 going into this game would be sort of similar to the one that we played against Villa and played against City at the Etihad. Maybe change it up a tiny bit with Trippier moving to left back. Maybe bring Tino Livramento into that right back position. Now, the reason behind that being the fact that, of course, if we move Trippier to left back, that means that then Trippier is going up against Arnold on the right back position, coming down that flank. And as we know, from the game against Chelsea, the game against Bournemouth, and most of the games that we've seen Arnold playing at that right back position, he does like to wander from that right back position into the central midfield area. So that'll allow, of course, Trippier a lot more time to move down the wing and get a few more crosses into the box for us, which is brilliant for, getting service into the likes of Alex, who will be up top forward, definitely. I feel he will be the starting striker for winning the game. But moving to the centre-backs, I'll go with Shaw and Botman in the centre-back roles. Moving into the midfield, I think it's pretty much picks itself with, Joe Linton, Bruno and Sandro Tonali. If, of course, Joe Linton's fit for the game. If not, then I would like to maybe see somebody like Ellie Anderson get a goal into the game. I'd like to see him get a chance in the game because he has been absolutely fantastic for winning pre-season. Elliot Anderson, the lad is literally just completely showed an immense boost in his play and ability for moving forward. And being a young lad as well, the more time he gets to play, the more game time he gets, it's going to help with moving forward as well. And it's going to help him, progress as a player as well. And then we've got the likes of, young Lewis Miley, who we could look to on the bench as well. But then we've also got other players there as well, like you've mentioned, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, Miggy Almiron, Murphy as well, who will be available for this one because he was only not available for the Man City game because he was back here in Newcastle, at his wife's bedside because he's just become a father. So that's the reasons why he wasn't in the Man City selection against them. But he'll be available for the game of the weekend, which I've got to say, Jacob Murphy's come on leaps and bounds since Eddie Howe came in as well. He's another one of them players, that we've seen with the likes of Joe Linton and Miggy, who have benefited from Eddie coming in. But moving towards, the wings, I think if we're going to go into this game, I would like to see Harvey Barnes playing on the left midfield, maybe, going Anthony Gordon on the right midfield, Miggy coming off the bench, and then Isak obviously up top. That would be how I would go with it. But we'll have to wait and see, what Eddie goes with going into the game. But like you say, it's going to be an entertaining game. There's going to be a lot of goals, hopefully. Of course, with Newcastle coming away the winners in the game, I'm sure you'll be hoping Liverpool to come away with the 3 points in the game, of course. But it's going to be an entertaining one, whether, it's a loss for us or, a loss for yourselves or a draw for both. At the end of the day, it's going to be an entertaining game. The referee going into the game as well is, of course, John Brooks. Now, this is where I feel there is a little bit of a shadow over this game on that, in the fact that there's rumours going around, and I have known from the past that John Brooks is meant to be a Liverpool fan. So, him being in the middle for this game is looking a bit dodgy, I've got to say. But, when is it never? When, Newcastle's are selected, we've had some dodgy ones so far this season. We're only 2 games into the season, but we'll see how it goes, see how he officiates the game. Stuart Atwell's going to be on VAR for the game. But, the last time we've won at St James's Park, was back in the 15-16 season. We won 2-0. There was an own goal by Skirtle and a goal by Gini Wijnaldum, who ended up eventually moving to Liverpool. And of course, we won 2-0 in that game. The last time we scored against us at St James's Park was the 1920 season, and it was Dwight Gale in a 3-1 loss. So, we haven't really had many positive results St James's against just recently, with the most recent one being a draw, back in the 2021 season. It was a 0-0 draw, but last season, of course, we lost 2-0. Season before that, we lost 1-0. So, hopefully things can turn around. Hopefully we can get something, be it 3 points or a draw. If it turned out to be, that we couldn't get the 3 points in the game and we could only get a draw, I'd be happy with that. At the end of the day, getting a win against Aston Villa on the opening day, that's 3 points in the bag there. Should have probably got something against City down at Etihad, but it wasn't to be. So getting a draw against Liverpool, that's fantastic if we can do that. If we can't get the win, of course. But looking at the games after that, we've got some pretty good winnable games. We don't have a big game until about, November point when we've got to take on Arsenal, I believe it is. So, we've got a pretty good stretch of winnable games for about 2 months, I think it is. So we'll see, what happens going ahead. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game at the weekend, mate. Thank you for coming on to the channel. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on and do this preview with us ahead of the game at the weekend. And, may the best team win at the weekend as well. But before you go, do you want to give a shout out to where people can find you?
Yeah, well, I'm not really on social media anymore, so there's no point. I've retired the FPL Penguin account. But I just want to say thank you to Carl for having me on. Really appreciate it, mate. Anyone that's watching, smash that like button on this video. Subscribe to 100% Mags. He's putting out some really class content at the minute. Getting all the news for you guys, videos out there and everything like that, or behind the scenes. He's putting out some class content. So do subscribe to him if you're a Newcastle fan. Even if you're not a Newcastle fan, I'm subscribed to him. Just subscribe to him, and it's just great to listen to. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the match. May the best team win. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Prediction 2-2. Come on, you red men.
That's 2-2 for you. Yeah, I didn't do my prediction, did I? I'm going to go... Yeah, I'll go 2-1 Newcastle. I'll go with a win. If not, then 2-2 for the draw. But yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for the kind words there as well. And like I say, best of luck at the weekend. May the best team win. Nice. So guys, that's been the preview for the game at the weekend. See you all in the review, of course, after the game. And I'll see you all next time. How are the lads?